welcome to this week's edition of the Las Vegas Advisor Weekly Update with Anthony and Andrew. It is Wednesday, May 4th, and may the 4th be with you.
Star Wars.
Yeah, Star Wars.
Wookiee.
Wookiee.
Well done. Nice.
So
I like
big,
that.
Yeah. All right, well, we'll keep it in.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
The big news of this week is the Palms. We talked about it last week, but we have some more updates on the Palms.
Yeah, well, we were able to go back. We were able to take a look. So first things first, I got to get this cleared up. I mean, a big mea culpa on this one. I said it looked like the video poker was really weak, and it's nothing of the sort.
Oh, okay. Well, let's dig into it. So what did you find when you were looking for cool video poker games at the Palms?
Well, first things first, what I said actually wasn't that wrong, and I'm not trying to pass the buck here, but what I said was I looked only at the bar games, and at 25 cents, there just was nothing. At 25 cents and $1, there was nothing good. We were looking at 7-5 bonus poker, 98% game. However, at higher denoms at the bar and off the bar on the floor, it is about as good as it was when it was originally, the Palms before this.
Okay.
So we're talking about 100% plus games.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, we're talking about quarter and dollar games, 10-7 double bonus, which is a 100.17% return, greater than 100%. We're talking about double bonus, 10-6. I mean, normally with that, you're looking at 8-5, maybe 9-5 with double. This is 10-6.
That's interesting. People like double a lot because of the 4 aces with a kicker.
Yeah, well, I was with a friend who loves double, and I told her, I says, well, this game returns 100.07, over 100%.
How does that work? How's that possible that it could return that much?
Well, because that's just the way every time you up the pay table in any way, and we're talking specifically about the full house and the flush here, for every point of the full house and flush, it's approximately 1.1%. So if you've got a machine that pays 9.5, and then you got one that pays 9.6, that second one pays 1.1% more.
Okay.
So 10-6 and a double compared to an 8.5 or a 9.5 or something like that gives you 2-3 percentage points more, and it literally eclipses the break-even point of 100%.
Okay, and then what you're also talking about is a reason to buy the Gene Scott book, so you can flip through and look at all the pay tables.
Well, yeah, we talked about her scouting guide before, and it will tell you, you look at that and go, holy mackerel, this is a 10-6 double game, and I might as well play that. Well, that's only part one. Finding the machine is part one, playing it properly is part two, and then you're looking at Bob Dancer and also Gene Scott.
Yeah.
But you've got to learn to play these games correctly, with strategy cards or things like that.
Right.
So it's like my friend said, I have to sit down and play that. I go, it doesn't mean you're going to win just because it's paying over 0.0%.
Right.
You've got to play properly. You've got to have the proper strategy. And she lost $10.
Oh, okay. Well, that happens. Over the course of infinity, you would get back one.
Yeah, if you played it perfectly.
If you played perfectly.
I mean, so that's how they get away with doing it. If your question is how can they get away with it? Because nobody plays perfectly, hardly.
Okay.
I mean, Bob Dancer plays perfectly. Or if you're sitting there with a Dancer strategy card and following everything, then you're playing essentially as good as a computer. But most people don't play that way. So they're playing well below, at least 1.5%, maybe 2% below optimal. So that 100% drops to 98.
Okay, but then could this also be considered a loss leader for casinos to get people in the play?
Well, yeah. Well, it's great because, not all the machines have this. Like these particular machines are close to the entrance on the, the west side entrance.
Okay.
So when you're coming in from the parking lot on the west side, coming in, towards the sportsbook side, look for the machines right there, and that's where they're located. They're not all over the casino.
All right, so you heard it here. There are actually some really good video poker games at the Palms.
Right.
So go check it out. Now, also at the Palms, there was something I forgot to bring up, which was there was a really cool-looking pizza joint with a lot of people out in front of it.
I think it was called Palms Pizza.
Okay.
And all of the, almost all of the old restaurants from the Palms are back. We talked about that last week. But one that left was called Side Piece. And it was right next to Green Street, and it was their pizza place. You could get, a piece of pizza, a slice of pizza on the side. They call it Side Piece. And Side Piece left and went to Red Rock, I believe.
Okay.
And so they opened their own Palms Pizza, which is not in the exact same space, I don't think, but it's right near the Green Street. So there's another cool thing about the Palms we discovered.
Yeah, and inexpensive.
Yeah, inexpensive for sure.
You get a slice. And there were some really big crowds.
Crowds were huge. I mean, when they opened the door, that's the other thing we forgot to talk about, is the big crowds on opening night and why they're there, right? So, I mean, two reasons. One is everybody wants to go to the new place, right? You want to first to see it.
It's a casino opening, so you want to be amongst the hot crowd.
Yeah,
You know?
and that's it. And you want to see the leftovers from the party, and you want to be first to play and all that. But another big part of it is sort of a myth that the machines are set more loosely on opening night. And this has gone, it's an urban legend. It's gone around for years and years and years. And it was around before the opening of the Mirage, but when the Mirage opened in 1989, on opening night, somebody hit a slot jackpot. It was megabucks for $4.6 million.
There you go.
And there it flew. From that point forward, that rumor caught more and more steam, where everyone said, see, they loosened it so somebody would hit it on opening night. They don't do that. They can't do that. That's against the law. B, they just don't do that. And it just was happenstance that it happened that night.
That's interesting. And that's kind of my question. Like, if they wanted to, could they? Could they say, hey, opening night, we're cranking our machines up to 95% return? Is it possible that they could do that?
They could switch what are called par sheets, and they could make the machines pay more than they normally would. And they might to some degree, but they're not going to make it so everybody's winning everywhere.
Right.
And it's so much of a hassle to change it back and move it back and forth that they're not going to do that. They're pretty much going to open the way they're going to go, at least for a couple of weeks, until they make a change. Now, there is something sort of known that casinos usually open loose. So they open with better schedules and probably with a little bit higher paying machines. And after a few weeks or months, they'll drop it back.
Okay.
But it's not an opening night thing where all of a sudden everything is set so everybody's going to win everywhere. It just doesn't happen.
All right. Well, so thank you for busting that myth, that casino myth. But you can still find these good video poker games.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many people would argue that with me, but but I can tell you that's the truth.
All right, and so back to regular news. In real estate, we have another big real estate development deal. TILMAN FRETITA buys 6 acres on the South Strip.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago we had the Siegel Group buying on the north end. Now we've got TILMAN FRETITA. He is the cousin of the Fertitas from Station Casinos, Frank and Lorenzo. Safe to say there's a little bit of a family competition going on there.
Yeah, I wonder what Thanksgiving's going to be like this year.
Yeah, no kidding. But anyway, TILMAN FRETITA, who owns the Golden Nugget brand, including the Las Vegas Golden Nugget, who owns the Landry's seafood restaurants, owns the Houston Rockets basketball team.
Okay.
So this guy's got some cash.
Yeah.
And he has been wanting to get on the Strip for the longest time.
Okay.
And if he's going to one-up his cousins, then he's not going to compete with their local empire, but the only way he's going to do it is to get a place on the Strip.
Well, and this is a really big parcel on the Strip, $200 million.
It's 6 acres, which isn't huge, but it's in a prime spot, which is on Harmon and the Strip proper. So it's right across from Cosmo and City Center. It's for anybody who remembers where the Harley Davidson Cafe is.
Yep.
That's right where it is. It's going to be right on that piece of land right there. There's a Travelodge next to it. And he's already said that he's looking to build a big casino there.
Okay, so $200 million for the real estate, and then they're going to probably spend whatever billion to develop it.
Another billion for the edifice, right?
All right, cool. Yeah. Well, welcome. More people, more casinos.
More building on the Strip.
Yeah, it's more action in the real estate world. So a lot of people came to town for the NFL draft. How did that end up?
Well, it ended up being huge. I mean, it was absolutely enormous. I mean, you wouldn't anybody in their right mind wouldn't want to go down there. In fact, I had a buddy call me, say he was there. He says, "I'm first night of the draft." He goes, "I'm here. I'm in a private box." And I thought he was going to invite me. He didn't. I guess he's not that good a buddy. But I was already formulating my excuse not to go down there. I didn't want to deal with that. But it was gigantic in terms of the amount of people that showed up.
Well, they set up, and stopped traffic starting on Thursday leading up to the event. So, I mean, there was a giant build going on, a giant stage in front of the Bellagio. Really interesting.
Well, by all accounts, it was a really good thing for Vegas. Vegas showed really well. And everybody was really proud of the effort.
Yeah, but unfortunately, I think the gambling numbers came in low.
Well, that's what they're saying, and they're reporting that. And I mean, it's just different groups gamble in different ways. And I mean, it reminds me of Comdex. That they say the Comdex people, they come in and they spend like all kinds of money on hotel rooms and food and everything else, but they don't gamble.
Right.
And I've got dealer friends, or cocktail waitresses and things. There's a joke going around saying Comdex people, the Comdex geeks come in with a white shirt and a $20 bill, and they don't change either one of them.
Now Comdex is what? It's a big
it's a big
convention?
computer. A big computer show.
Computer show, okay.
But basically what they're saying is that they're very, very, very cheap.
Okay, so they come in and they're just not gamblers. They just don't play.
Yeah, white shirt and a $20 bill, and they don't change either one.
That's hilarious. All right, well, let's talk about a big event that should bring a lot of gamblers. The Kentucky Derby is this weekend, and that's a big one for Vegas.
It is. It's. I mean, it's not Super Bowl like, but it is a big deal in Vegas. People come out for the Kentucky Derby, or at least they go out. They go into the casinos. They watch the race on the big screens. There's lots of parties, and those parties typically are open. They're in the sports book where they've got maybe specials on mint juleps and things like that.
All right.
I know that South Point is going to have a big party in their ballroom. And this is a good one. The favorite is Zandon. Zandon is the favorite at 3-1 right now.
Okay. And what about your favorite horse, Smile Happy?
Well, Smile Happy, that's owned by Mattress Mac.
Okay.
So Mac had a horse called Run Happy a few years ago that was supposed to do well and didn't do so well. And now he's got one called Smile Happy, who's right in the mix. Didn't do as well in some of the preceding races, so is now down to or up to 20-1 odds. But this is Mattress Mac's horse called Smile Happy. We're going to be rooting for him.
Okay. Is Mattress Mac placing like a big bet on Smile Happy? That's a big public bet.
I don't think he's going to. I mean, his deal with this furniture this time with his gallery furniture store is if the favorite wins. So he'll probably have a bet on Zandon, I would expect.
Oh, okay.
So,
All right. Well,
we shall
go Zandon and go.
Yeah. One more thing too. Anybody who wants to see, we've got some smart people, horse people around here, and they're having free horse handicapping seminars on Friday, the night before, at both South Point and the Rampart. Both of them starting at 6 o'clock.
Okay, so that's really interesting. So if you're interested in learning how to place bets for horse racing.
Yeah, they'll be talking about, they won't be telling you so much how to place. You've kind of got to know that, or you got to go ask at the window.
Okay.
But they'll be telling you who they think's going to win. Will be telling you where they think the good bets are.
Oh, all right.
So
well,
maybe it's not often the favorite. Usually they're like a middle favorite or something like that. So if you like that kind of thing, those are kind of neat to see too.
All right, so that's at South Point and also at the Rampart Casino. All right, and Jackpot of the Week. This week we have another kind of celebrity jackpot. It is the father of one of your authors here at Huntington Press.
Right. Last time we did Jackpot of the Week, it was Gene Scott,
Right.
who is an author. And this time it is the father of Andy Ewell.
Okay.
And Andy wrote for us a book called Blackjack Insiders, which we'll talk about for a second. But go ahead and tell the story.
Okay, so this is the story. He says, I was playing another schedule and I decided to try Deuces Wild, which I hadn't played before and I know nothing about. I put $100 into the machine and played only a few hands when I hit the royal flush. The thing is, I was playing 25 cents before switching, and I didn't notice that somehow I was now playing at the $2 level, which gave me an $8,000 jackpot.
Okay, that's nothing really to analyze here. I mean, if anything, that's just a kind of a cautionary story that
It should be a cautionary story.
you've got to look, and that's what happens a lot at machines. For those of you who haven't played a lot, a machine will switch on you.
Yeah.
When you switch a game, it'll switch up something and go back to another default. All right, so Andy's father puts in $100, thinks he's got an afternoon of play at 25 cents, and he's basically betting $10 a hand. So, with bad luck, in 10 hands, his $100 is gone.
Right.
As it turns out, he hits a royal flush, and instead of a $1,000 jackpot, he's got $8,000.
$8,000. There
Yeah,
you go.
pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool.
It's funny, if you take a good look at the graphic of this, you can see that the schedule is not very good. All right, he's playing a lousy schedule, a little bit under 95%, but you can also see right in the corner that he's playing at a Caesars property.
Okay.
And Caesars is just known for that. They've got horrible schedules. Their video poker throughout everywhere. So fooey on you, Caesars. I mean, go back to the Palms.
Yeah, all right. Well, playing that game at the Palms would be better.
Yeah, but not better than hitting for $8 grand, right?
Nothing's better than hitting for $8 grand.
Luck trumps skill. Once again, luck trumps skill.
All right, so Andrew's dad hit for $8,000. That's incredible. What's his book about?
Andrew's book, Andrew.
Yeah.
This is Andrew Ewell. Is called the Blackjack Insiders, and it's one of our, top and newest blackjack books. We've got lots of really good blackjack titles, but this one was different because it was about Andrew was a pit boss in Mesquite. And
okay.
he and another Mesquite pit boss who had studied blackjack got together and decided to quit their jobs and travel the United States playing blackjack, using not only the expert strategies that they had learned to catch card counters, but the inside knowledge that they had as pit bosses to know what to look for and to know what they were thinking about on the inside.
Wow.
Hence the name, the Blackjack Insiders.
Okay.
And it's a very interesting story about how these two guys went around. And what's good about this book is it really talks about the ups and downs. And, you know, Andy talks about when things are going really bad, and he talks about when things are going really good. And he did it for, I think, a year or a little over a year. And then both guys decided enough was enough. They were successful, but they went back to their jobs.
Okay, so, well, that was my question. So they were ultimately successful in their year of blackjack play. They won more than they lost.
They were successful, but this book tells the story of why it's so hard to do.
Okay.
You have to be on the road. And Andy, you know, had a son that was recently born, and he was going through a dissolution of his marriage, and he had to deal with these sort of things.
Yeah.
And he talks about it in the book. So it's a really good story about, you know, what goes on for a blackjack player and all the different challenges you have to face when you're trying to live that life, when you're trying to live a regular life.
That's really interesting because, you know, there's a lot of ups and downs in general. And I know you've talked about the importance of having a bankroll as a gambler.
Yeah,
You have to have a bankroll.
He talks about bankroll. He talks about, you know, the psychological aspect of it. Yeah. It's really good. Andrew's a good writer, and it's a good read.
Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. That's it for this week. We'll see you next week.